How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my review of the 2024-25 season for Nottingham Forest Football Club. And what a season that has been for the football club. It's been absolutely incredible. Beyond what most Forest fans, actually, let's just rephrase that, beyond what probably every Forest fan thought would be possible at the start of the campaign. My dad is very optimistic, and he's like, well, we'll get Europe, we get top 10, this, that, and the other. Truly deep down, I don't even think he would have thought this season was capable of really taking place. I've got a couple of points, a few things from the season I'm going to cover in this video. Give you my sort of game of the season, signing of the season, player of the season, all that good stuff, and a little bit of an overview of what my thoughts from the season, and we'll maybe touch on next season. We'll see how things go in the video. But yeah, I mean, sensational season, beyond belief. This campaign for us, it's been ridiculous. Going from last season on 32 points, okay, I think we accumulated 34, which I believe would have kept us in the division this season, just about, but not great. Let's be honest. We stayed up officially on the final day. There's potential that Luton might have been able to get a massive goal difference swing, and we would then be going down, but that didn't happen. And we were able to stay up, and 32 points is what the history books will note down for last season. And this campaign, we managed to get 65, so that's 33 more points. Effectively, 11 more wins, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The only real other side I can think who have had a jump in points tally like that is Leicester when they won the division. 33 more points is crazy. And I just never saw it coming. I thought maybe we could finish 14th, 15th maybe, and I'd have been happy with that. But given the fact that we finished 7th in the Premier League is just absolutely crackers. I mean, I'll touch a little bit later on in the video about my thoughts to how the season ended and my thoughts on where we finished, and taking it all into account given how the season panned out. But overall, I'm just absolutely over the moon. Absolutely over the moon, because the change and the transition that we've seen this season, going from a team who couldn't bag a win away. I think we managed to get a couple, but not many at all. To then, I think we got 10 away wins this season out of the what would have been the 18 games that we would have played away from home. That's wild. That is really impressive for a club of like Forest, and a club similar to what we've been going through over the past couple of years in our Premier League. In our Premier League, what would it be, stint, I guess you could say. First season we came up, we won once on the road, and that was against Southampton, who finished rock bottom. So yeah, like, the turnaround this season has just been brilliant, and I'm so proud of the lads, and I think they've done an absolutely incredible job, to be honest with you. We ended the season on a bit of a downer. Let's be honest. We really wanted that top 4, top 5 slot where we could finish in the Champions League, but we ended up finishing 7th, and I don't think that's necessarily a massive negative, to be honest with you. Let's be honest. We're playing in a competition where we have a better chance of succeeding. We're not going to have to play the likes of PSG, who would probably stick 4 goals past us in the first half. We're playing in a competition where we have a really good chance of actually going on to win the thing. Let's look at all the teams that we have to compare with or to compete with. I think Fiorentina are in there, Mainz, maybe Rayo Vallecano. We could do a job. We could beat them. We could feasibly go on and win the Europa Conference League next season. So I don't think it's necessarily too much of a bad thing that we didn't get top 4. I was gutted after the Chelsea game because everything went in our favour for once, and we couldn't get over the line. But look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think we could do well in the Conference League. Bring it on. Touching then on my game of the season, signing of the season, and player of the season. Then I've got some nominees for all of them. I think I've got 5 for each. I think I've got 4 for the player signing of the season. Sorry. And then I've got 5 for game and player of the season. So we'll start off with game of the season then. And we've had so many incredible games this season. I was at the opening game of the season where we drew 1 goal each against Bournemouth, and if you'd have told me that we were going to go on and witness some of these games towards the end of the season, not towards the end of the season, go on to experience these games before the end of the season, I would have been shocked, to be honest with you. You know, walking out of that ground, I didn't know that round the corner, would be having some absolutely insane results. And one of those being Liverpool away. Just that for me is a generational game for Forest. I'd never seen Forest play Liverpool before we went up in the Premier League in the 2021-22 campaign, or was it the 22-23? No, 22-23 was when we were up first season. So 21-22 campaign. I did not envisage No, what am I on about? I'd never seen Forest play Liverpool even before that. We'd never got them in a cup. We'd never played them in a friendly. I'd never seen us play Liverpool before we got promoted. And the 2 games that we played at Anfield prior to this season was a 3-2 loss at the back end of the first season where we stayed up. And then second season we lost, I think it was 3-0 there, 3 or 4-0. I remember Darwin Núñez getting on the score sheet on that one. But we went there, we went to Anfield and we played a very, very, a very compact midfield. We defended well, and then we brought on our pacey wingers towards the end of the game. It was a Nuno Espirito Santo masterclass. It was incredible from the bloke. He played that to perfection, and the 2 wingers combined with Alanga playing a lovely ball into Callum Hudson-Odoi, who cut inside, as he does so many times, and found the bottom corner of Alisson's goal to give us a 1-0 win in that game. And, well, pardon me, for fans around my dad's age and older, they would have been around when Liverpool and Forest had that ding-dong in the Premier League under the Cloughie, and, they would have had that in mind. So it was a big one for them. But for us, seeing Forest get a big win away at Anfield was absolutely incredible. My next 2 nominations come against the same side, one in the league and one in the cup, and that is Brighton. So we did beat them 7-0 at the City Ground. Absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. I remember I just couldn't believe it. Towards the end of the game, I was laughing. Whenever we scored, I was just laughing because I couldn't believe what was unfolding before my very eyes. 7 goals was just mental. My next door neighbour is a Forest fan, and I could hear him screaming as well at the same time. It was just beyond belief. 7-0. I've never seen a win like that for Forest in my life, and that was huge. And then the FA Cup, where we beat them on penalties. The game itself was a drab affair. It wasn't very good. They scored next time, but it was chalked off. But Yatesy banging in that penalty to win it for us, to send us to Wembley for the semi-final, was special. And Ryan Yates deserves that so much. He's currently missing Nottingham Forest, but at the club since he was a kid. Had a lot of flack from fans. It seems to be whenever anything goes wrong, it's Yates' fault. But whenever everything goes right, Yates is the king. So, it's a hard one for him. But I think I was so pleased when he scored that penalty to send us to Wembley. It was incredible. My next game, Man United away, beat them 3-2. I think that was a really, really brilliant game. I think it was one where it really helped me to think, actually, this team is serious. Like, we can go to we can go to Old Trafford at a stadium I'd never seen Forest win at, and get a 3-2 victory. And that one was incredible. Meant a lot to me, that one. Just in the fact that I remember when we got promoted, I was sat at a big picture on my wall of the City Ground, and I was like, we're going to be welcoming clubs like Man United, and then also thinking, actually, we're going to be going to their grounds as well, and seeing them get beaten by us was just beautiful to see. And then City at home was just a fantastic game. We needed to win to help us in our race for top 4. Unfortunately, we know what happened with that one, but look, we beat them. My cousin's a City fan, and the first time we've beaten City since he became a Man City fan. I think when we beat them back in 2008, I think it would have been like 3, nearly 4 for the end of that year. So he didn't really like football back then. And then since he became a Man City fan, he By the way, I did try and get him to be a Forest fan. I got him a shirt and stuff. It didn't work. The City fan. I was able to give it large to him, which was quite nice. And see the feeling from scoring that goal when Hudson-Odoi scored it late on in the game was just incredible. That feeling was amazing. I have a couple of honourable mentions who didn't quite make my top 5 or top list. Was Villa at home scoring that last minute winner. 2 late goals was brilliant. Liverpool at home, we didn't win the game, but the atmosphere when we scored early, when Wood scored that goal, it was amazing. But for me, out of all of those, I think the game of the season has to be Liverpool away. I think Liverpool away for me has to be the one. That for me was like, hang on a minute, we could have a very special season on our hands here. It was just unbelievable. And so for me, that one has to be there. A masterclass from Nuno. It all just went to plan. Incredible. And I think that was really the start of the amazing season that we went on to have. So for me, Liverpool away, game of the season. Signing of the season then for me, I've got 4 nominees here. 4 nominees here for player of the season. Signing of the season. First up is our big Serb at the back, Mr. Milinkovic. What a player. What a defender. And also, he's chipped in with a number of goals as well. I love him. I absolutely love Nikola Milinkovic. What a guy. There must be something about Serbian centre-halves where they just do not care. I look at Vidic and he would sling himself in front of out. He would put his head where it hurts. And Milinkovic does exactly the same. He's a perfect partner for someone like Murillo, because Murillo likes to get the ball, progress it, play out from the back. Milinkovic just does whatever it needs to do. Like, he's a brick wall. I love him so much, that guy. Chipped in with the goals as well. Been an absolute warrior for us. I think he's been absolutely incredible for us. Next up, Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson, I think, has been a really good addition to our midfield. Really good on the ball. I believe he's only scored once this campaign. That was at home to Southampton. But he's been very, very consistent in the midfield. He's so good in tight spaces. I remember we played Palace and he scored there. The feet that he was showing, the way he was able to keep the ball and get it through a couple of their defenders was just brilliant. And I think he's been really, really good. And I think he's only going to get better. You know, he's a young lad. I think he's in the England under-21s this week. He's got so much potential on him. And I think he's just a really, really talented footballer. And I think if we can keep hold of him and really nurture him and bring him on well, then I think we've got a really, really good player on our hands. And I think, for me, he's such a valuable player to have in the long run. I think we can build a midfield around him. He's going to hopefully be with us for many years to come. I think he's been a fantastic signing. I was a bit sceptical at first, thinking we paid a lot of money for someone here who I've not really seen too much of. But no, he's been really, really good for us, and I'm really, really pleased that we've got him. And he's a big addition to our side, and that's why he is one of my nominations for signing of the season. Next up then, I was debating get it through. A couple of their defenders was just brilliant, and I think he's been really, really good, and I think he's only going to get better. You know, he's a young lad. I think he's in the England under-21s this week. He's got so much potential on him, and I think he's just a really, really talented footballer. And I think if we can keep hold of him and really nurture him and bring him on well, then I think we've got a really, really good player on our hands. And I think, for me, he's such a valuable player to have in the long run. I think we can build a midfield around him. He's going to hopefully be with us for many years to come. I think he's been a fantastic signing. I was a bit sceptical at first, thinking we paid a lot of money for someone here who I've not really seen too much of. But no, he's been really, really good for us, and I'm really, really pleased that we've got him. And he's a big addition to our side, and that's why he is one of my nominations for signing of the season. Next up then, I was debating between 2. I was only going to go for 3, but I think these 2 deserve a mention, and they are Jota Silva and Morato. Now, as a whole, I don't think either of them are probably up to the standard of being a signing of the season. You look at Morato, and when he comes off the bench with about half an hour to go and slots into the back five, he's brilliant, and we can run a game down with him at the back. He kicks it away, heads it away, does whatever he can and whatever it takes. But then when he starts a game, he's not particularly blown me away. He's good to come off the bench and knock things away and defend and keep hold of a lead, but in a long period of time where he's got to have the ball at his feet, where he's got to play the game for an extended period of time, he's maybe not quite been up to the standard of a player of the season contender. But I think he deserved this shout just for his substitute appearances alone. And then Jota Silva as well. I think similar to Morato, he's been a super sub in terms of an attacking standpoint. He's come off the bench and he scored goals away at Ipswich, scored in that 7-0. I think he scored a couple of other goals, but I can't. My mind's sort of going a little bit blank on that at the minute. But I think for him, he's been a really good player to call on and a good option to have. But then sometimes I've been a little bit underwhelmed with him as well. So I wouldn't have said necessarily he should be a contender for signing of the season, but I think him and Morato deserved a mention. They at least deserve a mention because there have been moments where I've loved them and I've been really, they made me smile. But there's been moments also where I've been a little bit like, I need to see a bit more from you. So I'm not gonna I didn't want to give them a full nomination, but I think they deserved a shout. So for me, my signing of the season goes to Mr. Nikola Milinkovic. For me, yeah, like I said before, it's an absolute warrior at the back. Our defence last season wasn't great, and he's come in and he's shored that up so well. And the fact that he only cost £12 million or thereabouts, he could be signing of the season for the Premier League. He's just been incredible. For the fee we paid and the things that we've seen from him has just been amazing. And so I'm so pleased to have him now at the back. He makes me feel so much more assured and confident. And for me, he has to be our signing of the season. So yes then, player of the season. I have got 5 nominees and I've got 2 honourable mentions. Actually 3 honourable mentions. My honourable mentions being Ola Aina, being Anthony Elanga and being Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, Ola Aina for me would have been a shoo-in, but the injuries have let him down. I know it's not his fault. But I feel like if he'd have stayed fit and he had him through that run, things might have been slightly different. But I feel like I can't leave him out of the discussion. But I do want to put him in my top 5. But yeah, I think for me, he definitely deserves a shout and he's been excellent. You know what, right? I just want to cover this while I'm here. I've seen a lot of people put Daniel Munoz as a right back in the Premier League team of the season. Now, fair enough. Look, I don't want to discredit the bloke. I think he's had a good season with Crystal Palace. But I think that is the biggest case of recency bias that I've ever seen in my life. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but that is massive, massive recency bias. Daniel Munoz has been decent. Don't get me wrong, Palace done well. I think they've had one of their best Premier League finishes ever. They finished 12th, like they do quite often, but I think their points they've accrued and the wins they've had have been one of their best. And fair play to them. I'm pleased for Palace. They deserve it. They won the FA Cup. Fantastic. But I think the fact that he won the FA Cup and the fact that Aina got injured around the same time makes people think, oh yeah, Daniel Munoz had a really good season. We'll put him in there. I think if he didn't get to an FA Cup final and win the FA Cup and be man of the match in the FA Cup final, I don't think he would even have been in the chat for right back. It would have been Aina, probably Trent. I'm trying to think who else. There's been a good few left backs, but right backs. Maybe he would have been one of those rogue outside shouts, but he wouldn't have been people's winner. But anyway, I'm waffling. Aina just missed out for me. Gibbs-White I think has been brilliant for us, but we've come to know that already. We know what he offers. I think he's been brilliant. I wouldn't put him in the top 5 for this season specifically because I know we can see better from him. but he has to have a shout. And Alanga, I think second half of the season he's been brilliant. Since that last minute winner, or was it? Yeah, I think he got the last minute winner against Villa. He changed, and he became so vital and a huge for us in the campaign. He just misses out on the top 5 for me, but I think he's been huge. And I know that Newcastle are after him. They're interested in him. They want 50 million to buy him £50 million. Add another 25 million on top, and you might have a thought. We might consider it, but I don't want to let him go. I think he's been brilliant for us on the right hand side. Been ever present there really for more large parts of the season. So for me, I think he just misses out, but he's a big shout for it. Then, so my nominees for Player of the Season, we have Neco Williams, we have Matt Sells, we have Chris Wood, Milinkovic, and unfortunately, I lost my nana around the Easter period. She died a few days after that game, so the last game that she would have been alive for was a win away at Tottenham, a good battling performance, which I know, like my nana, is quite a strong individual, and that win was like one where I could go like, yeah, you know what, the boys were done her proud, the way they fought, the way that they held on, that tough clearance off the line was amazing. So that game will sit nicely in my heart. Murillo's last minute clearance against United. We had so many incredible moments, but for me, I think Yates' penalty at the Amex is up there. I think that takes it for me. I've rambled for nearly half an hour, so hopefully Dan doesn't mind that too much. But it's been an incredible season. I don't want to actually touch on next season yet. I just want to enjoy what happened this season. So many incredible memories. Ones that I'm going to tell my kids about whenever I get the chance to have them. If I ever get lucky to have children, they're going to find out about this. I'm going to be sat around my grandchildren. Granddad tell you about the 24-25 season when Forest finished 7th. Mental. I'm so excited for Europe next season. Been a brilliant season. Shame things ended the way they did, but look, amazing season. Yeah. I don't know in what capacity how I'm gonna do this, but I just feel like I want to shout out Taiwo. I know he didn't have a great season. That win against Wolves, actually, that was a good game, a good moment. Seeing him score that goal, seeing the how much it meant to the players, seeing him get the goal, seeing him walk out on the City Ground pitch the last day of the season with that big brimming smile, that's a great moment as well. I'm happy with that. Up the Taiwo, up the Reds, up the Europa Conference League, up Nuno. I love Nuno so much. Don't let him go. I know that Roma were interested and there was talk of tension. I think that's waffle. Back him in the transfer window. Get him the players he wants. I believe in him. I trust him. I can't wait for the next season. Yeah, I'm sure Dan will get me on to talk about a couple of transfers or whatever. If not, I'll see you ready for the 25-26 season. What a season this has been. I'm never ever gonna forget this season. Thank you for watching my videos and thank you for watching everything that Dan does. Shout out to Dan. He's an absolute legend. He works so hard for this channel. Yeah, he's going to work so hard in the off season, whereas I only really tend to do match previews. He does videos every day. I think he's live right now. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know down below your game of the season, sign of the season, play of the season, moment of the season, goal of the season. And yeah, thank you for watching. And come on, you Reds. So that means that like you'll take 10 shots and score 3. It doesn't sound great, but you got to think how many chances he gets, and so it's brilliant. It's so good. I know towards the end of the season he missed a couple of sitters, and he does have a sitter in him. I remember he missed a sitter like from like literally half a yard away against Tottenham that last season at their ground. For me, he's been brilliant this season. In and amongst the goals, has scored majority of our goals, and he's just a fantastic goal scorer and a player that you can trust, a player that we can rely on. Yeah, love him. Matt Sells then. Wow. I think Sells has been the best goalkeeper in the league this season. Got the joint Golden Glove with David Raya. I think that makes him the first ever goalkeeper since the Golden Glove was made in the Premier League to not be a Big Six goalkeeper and win the award. He's just been incredible. I feel so assured that I can rely on him so much when we have him between the sticks. Going from Vlachodimos and Turner to Sells has been huge, and I love him so much. The way that he just, he pulls off some outrageous saves, where you just look at it and think like, wow, like, how have you just done that? He won us points by himself. What a goalkeeper. I love him. And then Neco Williams. For me, I think he might be underrated player of the season for me. I think he's been brilliant down that left-hand side. And then when he's gone in on the right-hand side when Ola Aina went injured, again, fantastic. Runs his socks off, that bloke. When we've not been playing well, he's someone that I look at and think he still gave his all. He still did what he needed to do for the club and for the badge. And I know A-Team Milan are interested in him. Get your hands off now. I think don't let him go. I think he's brilliant. The passion he has and just I see him putting in challenge after challenge. I feel like that bloke. There's that clip of the old Man United fan who cries about Wan-Bissaka. That's how I feel about Williams. He wins that ball back so well. He's just so good, and I love him. I know he just recently got injured against. I can't remember who it was against, but for Wales on international duty. So that's a shame. Speedy recovery and thoughts and prayers with you. But I think for me, Williams, you. A huge shout for player of the season, and I did my player of the season on the Forest website, and I put Williams in, and I was about to submit it, and then I thought, no, it has to be Matt Sales. I wanted to give it to Williams. I think Williams is my favourite player at the club at the minute, but I went for Sales because I just think that Sales. His goalkeeping has just been incredible this season. How can a Forest goalkeeper have 14 clean sheets from 38 games? Sorry, that's ridiculous. That's like, let me just double check. That's almost one every other game. Because I know 19 is half of 38, isn't it? Let's just do 38 divided by 14. It equals. Why don't you just tell me the answer? So 2.71. So every 2.7 games he's keeping a clean sheet. I mean, wow, that's pretty mental. So basically 1 in 3. That's ridiculous for Forest. And I think he has to be my player of the season for me. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been absolutely exceptional between the sticks. What a goalkeeper. What a bloke. Just while I'm talking, I've thought maybe I could do moment of the season and goal of the season as well. Now, goal of the season. We've had some good ones. Aina against West Ham was a good one. Hudson-Odoi away at Liverpool was a good one. I'm going to forget goals here. Hudson-Odoi at home to City. Elanga scored a brilliant goal away at the Portman Road against Ipswich. There's probably goals that I'm missing, but I think one that sticks out to me is that Anthony Elanga goal against Manchester United. The one where he ran from the edge of the box and slotted it home in about 10. I think all in all it was like 9 seconds or something. Mental. Brilliant goal. A moment of the season for me. Getting to Wembley was a big one. I think. Oh, by the way, an underrated goal for the season was when Jota Silva scored against Newcastle and led the ball so hard it's made a massive smack noise against the post. Moment of the season: beating Liverpool, beating City. That goal from Chris Wood against Liverpool at home, wild. Getting to Wembley in the FA Cup on penalties. What other great moments have we had this season? Beating Brighton 7-0. But for a moment, Alanga's winner against Villa. Confirming champion. I mean, European football was wild. I know it wasn't in the great circumstances, but that was still amazing. But for me, moment of the season. I want to give a huge shout to Chris Wood against Liverpool. I don't think it's my moment of the season because we didn't go on to win the game. But the sheer noise and the way it made me feel was just incredible. Absolutely just mental. But I think for me, moment of the season goes to Ryan Yates' penalty. I think that penalty, it meant so much. Got us to Wembley for the second time in my life. And a man like Ryan Yates getting that goal is so deserving. Getting that penalty is so deserving. I've probably forgotten so many memories and moments from this season. A personal moment for me, finally being able to get to the City Ground to see Forest play in a Premier League game. I know we drew 1-0 with Bournemouth, and unfortunately Danilo got injured that day, but that was an amazing moment for me. Forest beating Tottenham was an amazing moment for me. Not an amazing moment, but that one will sit with me nicely in my heart because unfortunately